Fist flying, no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQP, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Sunday. Man, I hate these fucking weekends going by so fast. I probably shouldn't say that so quickly in the stream. But I really do hate it. I don't know what's going on here. All of a sudden I feel like I got something going on with my yeah, whatever. Sorry. I thought something was wrong, but I caught it. I'm good to go. All right. Anyway, back at it. It's man, it's kind of, I feel so unmotivated. And I think that's because I know that I didn't get to watch the fights live last night because I was at a friends miss, I guess. I couldn't think of the damn word. I was at a friend's Christmas party where we, hung out, had some food. We did like a white elephant party, like gift exchange thing, and played some games and stuff. So it was cool. It was fun. We had a good time. But yeah, and of course I had some drinks or whatever, but yeah, I didn't get to watch I was trying to watch the fights, but I was also trying to interact with everyone. I'm not there to watch the fights. I'm there to, what up, Tyler? Johnny's in the chat already, as well as Infinity. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for jumping in early and getting the chat going. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm not there to watch the fights. I do that enough as it is. So sometimes I feel bad, and I'll just set up my phone, and I'll just set up my phone and have it there. And then people walk up to me and be like, "Oh, you're watching the fights, huh?" And I'm like, well, I'm kind of watching them. I'm like, I put them there in the background so I can watch them whenever I'm not talking to somebody, or just to check in every once in a while. But I feel bad. I feel bad, but I am that guy that has his phone on. I'm at parties and shit, and I got my phone on. It is what it is, man. I'm sorry. I'm a fan. But it's tough because I can't pay attention. But I'll look back and I'll remember things, and then I'll go back the next day and watch it. But I had some stuff that I had to do today, so it's been kind of a tough day trying to get everything together and watch it. I didn't get to watch all the fights all the way through. That card had some big highs and some really, really low lows, if you know what I mean. I think I do know what you mean, at least somewhat. If not, I kind of had the same thought in maybe a different way, if that's not what you meant. But yeah, we'll get to it. But yeah, so I didn't really want. I skimmed through a lot of the prelim fights. I tried to watch the ones that had finishes, but yeah, it was a mixed weird. It was a weird card. There were some really good fights throughout the card, and there was some good finishes, and that's what made it worth it. Especially, the few in the main card were good, and then we had some submissions and a bloody ass fight in the prelims, and then a few decisions. It just, man, it was kind of along the lines of what I thought it was going to be. But in a way, some of the fights were better than I thought they would be, so that's good. Overall, not a total loss for the last event of 2025. I wish I could be more excited about it. I was hoping to come in here and be like, damn, I didn't get to watch them live, but those fights were sick. But, I'd be lying if I said that. There's just not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot into it. There's some good finishes and some, good things that are coming out of some of these fights. But if nothing else, it just got some of the fighters, some of their fights on their contract out of the way, and put some people in the win column, gave some guys that were debuting some wins to start off their UFC career. And that's a good thing for them. But what else is there to say except for getting into it and talking about every single fight like we're going to do, of course. But I was just hoping for a little more excitement going into this, because I was hoping for the last event of the year sending off ESPN Plus. Not that anybody gives a shit about that part, but really more just like sending it off as in, hey, it was nice while we were here and having some good fights. But it wasn't that way. And that's all right. I'm just gonna quit rambling about it. I don't know what else to say about it. That's all there is to it. I was really hoping for something better. But yeah, maybe if I would have watched them live, it would have felt a little better. But I don't know. Did you guys watch them live or did you watch them after? Did you just catch highlights and replays? Because sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes you can't watch the whole thing. But yeah, I was hoping for it to be better, and it wasn't. And I keep saying that, but other than that, I'm a little bit depressed because my football team, which I didn't even wear the hat because I was annoyed. I was pissed off. They lose last minute field goal, and it looked like they were going to win. There was like, 40 some seconds left. And then of course the Seahawks move the ball and get into the field goal range for their field goal kicker. That's for sure. And then, they kick a field goal at the last minute and my fucking team loses. So that sucks, but whatever. We're getting close to, playoff time and stuff, and people are, clinching or not clinching. Last week, someone in the chat said that the last card wasn't going to be watched much anyway. Yeah. No, I mean, I kind of assumed that, and I was assuming that not a whole lot of action was going to happen. But sometimes when a lot of people are like, I don't even want to see this fight or card or don't give a shit about it much, that's when a lot of exciting stuff happens. But that's wishful thinking. I mean, the few times it's happened, it's been great, but you can't really, hope that that's the way it's going to go. Or expect that that's the way it's going to go is what I meant to say. So it's disappointing, but I'm just looking at this next 6 weeks of downtime. And it's like, you should do a UFC award show for the year. That's not a bad idea, Tyler. It's a lot of work though, I will say, because I don't want to come off looking dumb. So maybe I'll work on that for one of the weeks before the end of the year for sure. Because considering I do 2 shows a week, I got some time. Maybe I can just work on it throughout. And maybe we'll do some different type of categories, because a lot of people do that kind of thing at the end of the year, an awards type thing. But maybe if we make it a little bit different, make your own categories, like biggest dumbass. Infinity's on the same page as me. You guys, this is why I like having you guys here, because we're always on the same level. Like, if I hadn't thought of it, you think of it, and then it's just good ideas. And when I'm starting to think of something, you guys say it in the chat. It's like, I mean, fuck, that's what makes this fun. This is why even if I don't have a whole lot to do or a whole lot to talk about, I'm like, shit, we still got to do a stream, man. So we all get to fucking, hang out and talk and shit. It's cool. Because, not a lot of times you either got people arguing or talking shit or telling you don't know shit about anything. And that kind of sucks. So it's cool when, I say something and then it comes up in the chat, or someone says something in the chat and I was about to say it. So that's always fun. But since we're talking about Infinity real quick, I do want to give him a shout out because he made me something that's pretty sick. And if you watch the interview that he did with me, he kind of showed it. But here's the finished product. It's technically, I'll show it from all sides. This is pretty dope. It's a little cage. And it's technically a coaster. That's what I keep turning it the wrong way. That's what the use is for it. That's what our intention was for it. But I think it's pretty sick. It almost looks like those little rings that you would get with like little figures and shit, little action figures that you can do. But yeah, he made me 2 of them. I got my drink in the other one. But yeah, it's pretty dope. Infinity, I kind of have an idea for maybe like, 2 more just to make it 4, since I have 4 people in here sometimes. I'll hit you up with that idea here soon. I'll just tell you, it's basically the same thing, except I'm thinking, since I got 2 that say UFC, which is what I cover the most, and that's why we got the logo back there and stuff, I was thinking maybe I drop you that GRP logo that I have on the back of my hat, and you can drop that in there if possible. And I can, pay you for it and whatnot. But yeah, I was thinking about that because I was like, oh, I wonder if I should see if he'd be down to make a couple more. And then I'm like, oh, what if we do the GRP logo in it? And then I got 2 and 2. I think it'd be pretty sick. The octagon with the GRP in the middle. But that's dope, man. I appreciate you. Don't think that I'm not like happy with it. I'm definitely happy with it. We have to look at it in a week or so. Oh yeah, no rush at all. It was just an idea that came to me when I was showing my wife and my daughters. I was like, oh, you know, that'd be cool to fucking do something like that. So yeah, no rush at all. It's just an idea. We'll throw it around. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's dope and it's useful. It's handy and it does what I wanted to do. It doesn't stick to the glass anymore and keep falling all over the place. I'm sure you guys have seen that on the watch parties where we're picking up coasters because, you know, the bottom of the drink gets a little condensation and it sticks and then it just falls and it's annoying. But anyway, yeah, that's dope. So I appreciate it, Infinity. He 3D printed that. So yeah, like last week, exactly. I start spilling shit all over the place because I'm trying to catch a damn coaster. And that's not going to happen now. I just have to make sure I don't drag the side of the cage. But I think I've already got it down. Yo, my white tee was messed up, but are you going to do a UFC awards thing? I missed like 5 minutes. I was saying that's a good idea. And maybe we could do like which Infinity was saying, make your own categories like biggest dumbass and stuff like that, which is exactly what I was thinking, making, you know, different kind of categories than everyone else does. Of course, we would do like a couple of regular categories like best knockout, best submission, best fight, unk of the year. But yeah, we could do stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys have ideas, throw them in there for sure because yeah, I can work on that and we'll try to get that done. Maybe for the last week before the end of the year, we can get that done. That's something I know I can work on, you know, little bits at a time. And I'll do my, you know, do my research and stuff and put everything together for that. Cause there's 6 weeks, you know? Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly, Tyler. And that's what I've been saying. I got to come up with shit to do. So any ideas are welcome. I mean, don't get offended if I don't use them, but an awards thing, I thought about doing that last year, but it seemed like absolutely everybody was doing that. But that's why I was thinking if I do it, we do our own kind of categories that aren't the same as what everyone else does. And then, of course, the obvious ones we'll put out there as well. It just seems like everybody does all the same categories and everybody kind of comes up with the same shit. Some of them are the most obvious ones, you know what I mean? Like you can't argue that was the knockout of the year, you know what I mean? Or you can't argue that was the fight of the year because it just was. I don't know if we have that many of those right now off the top of my head, but there's quite a few that you can think of that have been great knockouts. So, and submissions and everything else. So we'll have to check it out and really see if that works out. And I can work on that throughout the next couple weeks and hopefully get it done before the end of the year. Even if we start the year with that, though, if it takes me a little bit longer. So yeah, that's a cool idea. I like it, and we'll get that done hopefully. So let me give a shout out to Noctane Smelling Salts, my sponsor, of course. And God damn it, I brought the damn logo back, and it's not there. Let me get it back in here because I know I put it back in the right spot. Where is it? What the hell? Did I move it again? Wait, where'd it go? Okay, there it is. Cool. All right. Yeah, the QR code stayed there for some. I'm a dumbass and I deleted it. I deleted it the last time and I didn't realize it, but I needed to move the folder anyway. So I found it. Anyway, Noctane Smelling Salts. Appreciate the sponsorship, of course. I always try to take a hit of this and keep myself nice and awake and alert. Or wake myself up because sometimes I'm half dead coming in here. I didn't feel real motivated today, honestly, because I feel like the day went by so goddamn fast. And I just felt like I didn't have enough time for everything. But I always come in here and start things up. And then I start feeling it and it's better. So this just helps enhance that and gets me nice and awake and alert. And yeah, let's hit this real quick. Oh. Ooh. Oh, shit. Put the cover on. Oh, man. Got my eyes after the fact because I didn't put the cap back on. Noctane Smelling Salts. This is the most potent bottle. That's why it's such a harsh reaction and my eyes are watering. But there's other potencies as well. You can try it out. I say it all the time, but thank you, Noctane, for the sponsorship. And go check out their website, scan that QR code on the screen, or click on the link in the description below, and it's always there. So you can go check it out and get yourself some smelling salts. Various uses for it. Yeah, you can find your own use for it, and it's useful, I promise. I like it, and I use it all the time. That's why I always shout it out too. So thank you, Noctane. As long as they continue to want to sponsor me and hook me up, I'll continue to talk about them, and I'm sure I'll still buy them after the fact too, because I like using them anyway. But they're nice enough to continue this partnership, so I appreciate them, and I'll always shout them out. And as you see on the thumbnails and stuff like that, I always put the sponsored by Noctane on it. It is my one and only sponsor, but you know what? I'm lucky to even have a sponsor. Wouldn't think I'd have one even at this point. So thank you. Last show had a lot of traffic coming through. I was kind of surprised because I was noticing it as we were in on the YouTube live studio like control panel I have here. It shows me the views, and yeah, I was like, damn, a lot of people just, whether they were coming through, it was still being shown to a big audience apparently. And that was cool. That doesn't happen very often. And, you know, you guys had the chat going like crazy, which was dope. Some new people in there and stuff like that. Did you see Mahomes tore his ACL? Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Which they, you know, their season's basically done at this point. So that still sucks for him, but at least he has a lot of recovery time. Doesn't, you know, feel like he's missing out on playoff opportunities or whatnot. At least I think they're out already. That's what I thought I heard. But that still sucks, yeah. I did not see it, but I heard about it, and he's out for at least 10 months. Yeah, that's tough. But you know, what's his name? Shout out to your people that came over for the interview as well. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you everybody for checking that out. Yeah, that's what I thought, Tyler. I was pretty sure I heard that they got eliminated. But yeah, I mean, 10 months is crazy. But Aaron Rodgers, you know, came back pretty quick from a torn, not ACL, but what the fuck did Infinity? What'd you do again? I forgot. Achilles tendon. So, and that was a long recovery for anybody, but yeah, Achilles. But Aaron Rodgers came back pretty quick, so who knows? Maybe Mahomes will get some advice from him on how to come back faster. Who knows? ACL's tough though, especially for a quarterback that actually runs. But yeah, football, man, fuck. I haven't been following it too much, and I'm just sad that my team started off with the best record for a while and started off the best that they have in a while, and then they're just tanking it, man. I hope I lost a whole summer over. Oh yeah, it seemed like a long recovery, man. It sucks. Aaron Rodgers is gonna tell him to take natural remedies, ayahuasca, and then Mahomes is gonna become all spiritual and weird like Aaron Rodgers, but he's already a fucking weirdo, that Kermit sounding motherfucker. But anyway, yeah, that's it. We'll just get to what we're here for and start talking. All I'm really covering today. Oh, you know what? There was a couple things I wanted to talk about that I didn't put any visuals up for, and that's just because it was like one of those things I just want to talk about in passing, which was interesting enough. His brother is a real. Oh yeah, Mahomes' brother for sure is a weirdo. That guy is an attention whore and does anything for attention, and it's bad. So, yeah, luckily we haven't heard much from him in a while. But Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury seem to have an agreement on a fight coming up in 2026, which is interesting considering, you know, Joshua is already going to be fighting Jake Paul, and that pretty much tells me he's kind of looking past him, which isn't a far stretch from the truth, is that he probably could look past him, except, you know, Paul has a little bit of power, and we've seen him do a few things here and there. Whether he'll be able to do that to an elite boxer like Anthony Joshua, I don't know, because Jake Paul claims that Joshua has a shitty chin now and doesn't have a chin at all at this point, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be able to knock him out, because Joshua's gotten hit by people that hit a lot harder than Paul, I'm sure. So what does that mean? I don't know, but boxing does this a lot. Tyson Fury had a match with Usyk lined up already when after or before he even fought Francis Ngannou as well. And I just think that the boxing community and the officials and stuff, they don't have any respect for this fight that's coming with Jake Paul, and they probably didn't have any respect for the fight with Francis Ngannou. So that's why they do stuff like that. Put the attention back to the real boxing. And and I say that with quotes because, you know, yeah, we know. But bring the attention back to that. So they put something out there to contradict a little bit what's happening with the fight coming up. But you know damn sure that I will be covering that Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight. That's coming up next week. So at least we got something to talk about next week. For Thursday, we'll preview that and anything else coming up. I think there's also that Misfits boxing coming up as well, which is Andrew Tate versus Chase Demore for the heavyweight Misfits title. And that was the fight that yep, there you go, Tyler. Jake Paul sleeps Joshua, but booty. Is it booty, budai, buddy? I don't know. But that's funny. I don't know. I mean, if you're right about that, I will try to remember your name and shout you out if that happens. But damn. Oh, in his dream. Okay. I thought you were being a real fanboy of Jake Paul there for a minute. I'm not advocating for the fact that he's going to knock him out at all, or, you know, or that he even has a chance. Deep down, we all know Paul is a goat. Oh man. But you know, it's just one of those things. If it does happen, man, I don't know, that's going to be insane. I don't know that I see it happening at all or even close to happening, but ooh, you never know. Sometimes crazier shit happens. I never thought Francis Ngannou would knock down Tyson Fury either, but it happened. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Not too far out. It's next week. So we will be previewing that. And then what else? Oh, I totally forgot about the PFL. I've heard it said a couple different ways. It's Lyon. It was Lion or Leon. I'm not sure if Paul changes enough rules. Yeah, I don't know what to believe about that one because, you know, you see these things about stipulations in the contracts, but who really knows for sure? Unless Joshua says it, I don't know that I believe it until I see somebody saying maybe he can't say it, so I get that too. But we'll see. It'll all come out sooner or later. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes first. But I forgot about the PFL match that was happening card that was happening last weekend too, or this past weekend, and there was some decent fights on it. Nemkov versus Fajeda for that championship, I guess, and Nemkov beat him by submission. Nemkov is a badass, man, honestly. So if he comes out there looking skinny as fuck, we'll know. Oh yeah. I don't know that Joshua would even agree to anything crazy like that. So but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Nemkov looked damn good. And then Chris Cyborg, of course, beat her opponent, which I don't even remember who it was. That's because she was pretty much yeah. But now Cyborg saying that she's willing to drop down and meet Dakota Ditcheva halfway with because Ditcheva is obviously a lighter weight fighter, and Cyborg saying she'll drop some pounds to meet her at a weight somewhere in between. Now, hope not, but $20 is $20. But if that happens, that would be a sick fight. I don't know if Ditcheva can handle somebody as big as Cyborg, but maybe the dropping down some weight would help with that, you know, challenge. But who knows? Maybe PFL will come back a little stronger in 2026. It's just they haven't done a whole lot lately. It's hard to even remember or know when the fights are happening. How much promotion did you see for PFL Lion or Leon, whatever it was? Anybody? I mean, this is kind of what I'm hearing. Cyborg looks weird being natural these days. I mean, she's still pretty big, but not in the way that she used to be. PFL probably gonna put that fight on ESPN Unlimited anyway. Yeah, I mean, where do they go? What do they do? Like, how, I don't even know. They probably hit a wall with trying to figure out what to do to catch up to the UFC. Don Davis seems to think that they're an easy second, but I think they're pretty far away. Like, they're a distant second. And that's only because all the other promotions aren't doing shit either. And they only have some name value because one is like fucking up left and right. All their fighters are going away. They're releasing or cutting or fucking their fighters are asking for releases. It's all going away with one. It looks like they're doing more Muay Thai kickboxing type shit. If you watched my interview with Stephen Lohman, who came from one championship, they benched his ass for like 2 years, man, and wouldn't give him a fight no matter what, which was really fucking annoying because that guy is in his prime right now, and they're just robbing years off his prime, and it sucks. So he's back with Brave CF, and I did ask him the question as to what he thinks is going on with, one, so you can go check that out. I even asked him, hey, would you be willing to do like Muay Thai kickboxing matches? He said he was down for any of it, and they still wouldn't give him any fights. I don't even think PFL is second. Who would be, though? You know what I mean? Like, who would be? They kind of took the place of Bellator, and Bellator was never really second either. Everyone's just fucking, they're like, they got to get binoculars, high-powered lenses and shit to be able to see how far ahead the UFC is. And if they can see them any closer than that, it's because they got lapped. That's kind of how it goes, if you want to talk about it metaphorically. Everyone is tied for second, to be honest. Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's really no rankings because number one is so far away. So, that's a correct take. But anyway, I was just saying Don Davis thinks that they're second place. An easy second. I would love to see another, GFL is still in the works, so they say. They put out something, what was it, a couple months ago, better than those cars and phone booth fights. Yeah. UFC is like Termite Mound, and everyone else is like a bunch of ant mounds all around it. Yeah. I don't know why I keep coughing. But yeah, it's tough, man. And GFL still says that they're trying to come out and do their thing. They're just looking for the funding. But how can you even bother to worry about anything like that when we saw what happened with them, the pushing back of the start time and then just completely scrapping it all. And some of the people that were signed to that league, like Tyron Woodley, said, hey, if GFL is going to come back, which they say they are, he's like, I'm still down to do that or whatever. And he said that because he was talking about his fight with Anderson Silva, which is coming up on that Jake Paul fight, on that Jake Paul card this week coming up. So we'll be seeing that one as well, because it was supposed to be Chris Weidman, but Chris Weidman injured himself, and that sucks. So Tyron Woodley stepped in. So it might be a decent fight, honestly. I wasn't too sure how it was gonna play out with Anderson and Weidman, being that they fought each other a couple times, in MMA. And Anderson's been boxing. Weidman hasn't. So I was like, how's this gonna go? At least Tyron has boxed in the, recently somewhat. So maybe we'll get a little something out of that. It's not like Tyron was really the best, though. He didn't look great in any of his matches, to my recollection. But Anderson has looked pretty good in some of his matches, so it might be a decent fight. GFL, man, they faked their signings. Yeah. I mean, we heard about that. They definitely did on some of those. So, anyway, Misfits 2, by the way, I forgot to say that because I thought of GFL, thought of Dylan Dennis too, that dumb shit. He pulled out of his fight that he was supposed to have in Misfits MMA because of head injuries, because he got his ass whooped at UFC 323. Or 322, which one was it? Either one, whatever. He got his ass whooped, and yeah, that's what happens. And we all knew it. I was like, as soon as I saw that happen, I'm like, he's not fighting in in that Misfits fight. There's no fucking way. So we'll see what kind of news comes out of that, and we'll cover that stuff when it hits, which is next week. I believe Misfits is next week too, but I could be wrong. Who knows? We'll get to it. Either way, let's get to what we're here for, the recap of UFC Vegas 112 and also the last card of the year. The last card on ESPN as well. ESPN and ESPN Plus is done and over. Obviously, they're going to keep up what they have going through the rest of the year, but then I'm sure we'll see it all go away because then it gets handed over to Paramount Plus, which everyone I've talked to has not had good things to say about Paramount Plus as an app, and that sucks. So, and I know, like, my wife kind of mentioned to me too that she noticed some stuff where it's real slow and laggy, and she knows this more than I do because she'll watch other stuff on there that I don't watch with her while I'm like in here and shit like that. And I never really noticed that the app was laggy or anything like that. That's why I didn't mention it before. So that is not promising at all because already I'm worried about them being able to carry the UFC and all the new viewers on top of everything else that everyone else is watching. But I guess with ESPN it's kind of the same, but they're kind of used to that because they have all these different sports. So maybe Paramount has something in mind to make things better. And I know I talked to somebody else last night that was asking me what I thought about it going to Paramount, and you know, I just gave him the whole hope it doesn't crash like Netflix at first. Yeah, that one's a one-off though, I think, because but no, you know what, it could happen. It really could happen because everyone's going to be tuning in for that first fight card, especially after 6 weeks off from the UFC. The UFC is big enough right now where it's not going to go away. That's why they're confident in taking a 6-week layoff, and they're fine with it. And I think normally it's like what, 2-3 weeks tops, and then we get a card maybe in between. I don't even remember how it used to go, because back in the day they used to do New Year's Eve and New Year's Day cards, but not anymore. So I think we would always have like a fight card in between or some shit, and then or at least not have this many weeks off. And this is 6 weeks is crazy, but they're confident in that because they're going to switch over and they're going to have crazy viewership. So they're thinking a lot of people taking some vacation time too. Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that the UFC employees are happy to be able to get some time off because they got to keep up with that schedule. So they're confident in doing that because people are just going to be waiting. I mean, waiting and waiting, like we're going to be waiting for those fights to come back. And then we start off with a numbered event with title fights on it, and basically we're starting off with a pay-per-view, which is crazy. First fight on Paramount Plus, and then we get a second one a week after. So everyone's going to be anticipating that and waiting for it, and you know, you'll just be settling in and being okay with the fact that there's no fights when all of a sudden we're going to get these fights. So yeah, a lot of these other shows are taking time off too. I think if I take any time off, it might be just dropping it down to one time a week, right around the actual holidays, you know, like Christmas week for sure. I might just do one, and then maybe around New Year's too. It just depends on what days they land on and stuff. I forget. I haven't even looked into it, but I might take 1 or 2 extra days here or there, but it'll just mean that you only get one show a week instead of 2. So it just depends on what kind of content I come up with. Anyway, went off on a rant about that too, but Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. As I mentioned before, we weren't expecting a great card, and it turned out to be an okay card. I was hoping for some violence in that main card, and we got some, and we got some in the prelims too. So, you know, it wasn't a complete loss, but it wasn't the best fight of the year whatsoever. And I don't even know that it's in the top 10 of the best fight nights, but it was still better than some we've seen in the past. So we can't complain too much. And, you know, with Manel Kape, man, would be good time for a tough reunion. We could do it. But with Manel Kape, I always hate when he wins, and I hate when he wins for the simple fact that then we have to hear him on the mic, and he sucks on the mic. He thinks he's got the energy up, he thinks he's talking some good shit, but instead it sounds stupid, jumbled, and annoying. And I don't know what else to say. He's along the lines of Triple C with the cringe, and I don't even think he's trying to be. That's the sad part. So when you have to hear Manel Kape talk on the mic when he's all fired up after a win, you might as well just mute it or change it, because damn, it's annoying. I don't even remember what he talked about. Some sort of bullshit about diapers, and I saw a fucking post somewhere. I think it was on X that was like, Manel Kape, you're the last guy to speak on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Now that they're moving over, what do you have to say? And he's like, fucking jumbled up stupid words, bad English, and I'm sorry to say that, but you know, English isn't his first language, so it makes it worse. At least I don't think it is. If it is, he's really bad at English, but he just can't even put the words together well. And then he talks about, I'm your daddy, and I'm gonna steal your diapers or some shit like that, talking about Joshua Van. And it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you saying? This is stupid.
Brother.
That's what went through my head when he was talking. It's stupid, man. So it sucks when he wins, because then we have to hear him on the fucking mic. But it was short-lived, and luckily I didn't watch it. One too many head injuries. He did show off his power, though. I'll give him that, and we'll get to that fight here. But let's start with, let's actually get to it, because I keep fucking going off on tangents on other stuff. But let's get to it and start at the bottom of the card. Of course, I always go over all the fights from the bottom to the top, starting with the prelims. So let's get to that. And we start with Jamie Lynn Horth, who was fighting Teresa Bleda. She was coming in for her third fight in the UFC, coming off a win, and I was talking about the fact that this was a automatic decision, and you know, kind of purposely saying that because I was like, well, the last time I talked shit about the women going to the decision and being boring as hell as the first fight of the night, sometimes, you know, they prove me wrong, and this one happened. It wasn't like the most exciting fight in the world, but it only lasted 2 minutes and 5 seconds, and Jamie Lynn Horth used her striking really well. She looked like she was a bit like she had kind of tightened up her striking. So she was able to catch Bleda 2 minutes and 5 seconds in and finish her up on the ground and got the finish in the first round. So that's a great way to start off a card, especially when it's the women fighting. Bleda was like trying super hard to get that takedown. She was desperate for that after getting rocked. But yeah, I mean, she couldn't really do much. Jamie Lynn Horth just caught her with that punch and fucking rocked her world. So that made it be over pretty quick. 2 minutes and 5 seconds in, like I said, and that started the night off. Jamie Lynn Horth goes up to 9-2, and that puts her on a 2-fight win streak after she was coming off the win over Vanessa Demopoulos. So she's got 2 fights this year and ends the year 2-0. So that's good for her. Now she's on a 2-fight win streak, and she'll keep looking at climbing that ladder to get into the rankings. So next up, we had 2 guys making their UFC debuts in the men's heavyweight division. We had Guilherme Pat versus my screen just flashed out. That was weird. All right, it came back, thank God. I was like, oh shit, what just happened to my screen? But yeah, Guilherme Pat fighting Alan Fry, both of them making their UFC debut. It did go to decision, but you know, we got some decent action out of this fight. I don't think it was, you know, a fantastic fight, but Pat started doing well at first, and he kind of busted up Fry, was able to get some punches in on him, as you can see in these 2 pictures here, and he kept pressing forward. I mean, basically winning the first round, and then Fry just kind of kept trying to clinch up. That was really all that was going on there. Pat was able to just, you know, fight through the clinching and get some strikes in when he could, and then, you know, when he really landed, he was able to you know, bust open Fry, like I said, and get the decision win. So that puts him at 6-0 coming in. I think they were both coming in undefeated. Let's see. I mean, this is good for the heavyweight division, considering, you know, we had two big dudes coming in undefeated, and we get a decent fight out of it. But Guilherme Pape gets the win by unanimous decision and hands Fry his first career loss, and he gets his first official UFC win. So not too bad of a second fight of the night, and that brings us over to Luana Santos versus Melissa Croden. And Santos did a lot of grappling, you know, kept it on the ground a lot, but was able to get some strikes going in, you know, in the early minutes of the fight. Melissa Croden, you know, it was almost like she was out of her league a little bit in, you know, in the moment. Santos is good with the judo skills, you know, some throws here and there, and was able to just take her down and kind of keep her there. She didn't seem to be, you know, advancing as much or really looking forward, you know, not looking forward, but looking for a lot of submissions or even a lot of ground and pound, really, which kind of sucks. It was more of holding down and controlling, which is fine because that does win you some fights here and there, but sometimes it's better to show that you're even trying to get a finish of some sort, even with the submission attempts and whatnot. But Santos didn't really do a whole lot of that. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about with this fight. You know, Croden just kind of couldn't get any strikes off, really. And by the time she tried to put anything together, Santos had her on the ground. That's really how the fight went. And Luana Santos walks away with the win by unanimous decision. So that puts her at 10-2. And I think that extends her to a 2-fight win streak, because her last fight, she won by submission over Tainara Lisboa. And Melissa Croden is now in the loss column after she was on a 3-fight win streak, but only one of those being a UFC fight. She also beat Tainara Lisboa by TKO though. So they were coming off of wins off of the same opponent, and Luana Santos gets the win in this one by unanimous decision. Next up, we had a really exciting fight in the heavyweight division. Again, this really is good for the heavyweight division because you got two guys here that earned themselves the fight of the night bonus for both of them. Steven Asplund versus Sean Sharif. Asplund 7-1 coming into this fight. He was this was his UFC debut. He was coming in from the Contender Series where he got a TKO win in the first round, 16 seconds in. This dude, he's the guy on the left with the blue shorts, obviously getting the best of Sharaf. But yeah, Asplund, I guess, was like 400 pounds or some shit in the past. And you can see kind of the loose skin all over him. But he said he got bullied a bunch and stuff like that. I would assume from being overweight and all that. But yeah, he had some, you know, good words to say after the fight, saying, you know, he's out there fighting for everybody else that gets bullied and all that. But man, he's got some power. You can see how bloodied up Sharaf is, and he dropped some elbows on him and was able to gash him open. And man, I saw Dana White's Instagram story where they were, you know, because he always has an Instagram story of somebody getting stitched up that gets opened up during a fight. And, you know, it's pretty disgusting. A lot of times I'll put the pictures up here, but I didn't see any stills. I just saw a video and I was like, it's good. It wasn't one of the better videos that I've seen him put out anyway. But yeah, he had a nasty gash in that, I think above his eyebrow. And it was quite open. It was one of those that you could just like see inside. It's pretty bad. But yeah, Asplund using the elbows, and, you know, just getting some good strikes in. So I'm trying to see. Oh, it was between his eyes. So yeah, it looks like maybe right above his nose and closer to the left eye is where he got that gash. I couldn't remember exactly where, but there was a lot of low blows in these fights. I noticed that between the prelims and in the there's actually a point taken in one of the main card fights as well, not for a low blow but for an eye poke, but it was because it happened right after a low blow. So there was a bunch of stuff going on, a lot of fouls and penalties, not a lot of points taken though. I think only the one got taken. But yeah, Asbjorn is one of those guys that, you know, he talks, he's decent on the mic, I guess. He at least has something to say, not that that's always good. But Sharaf put up a good fight as well. So I mean, both these guys can do something in the heavyweight division if they keep at it. Asbjorn is on the right track now, but Sharaf is 0-2 now, unfortunately. So he did get the fight of the night bonus here on this one, but he lost to Junior Tafa previously in the second round. So he's 0-2, but I mean, he's got a fighting style that, you know, some people might want to watch. So if he can start putting together some wins, maybe he has a decent chance in the UFC heavyweight division. You know, not everybody starts off with a winning record. We know Merab started off 0-2 as well, and then went on a 14-fight win streak before losing his title. You know, but he also became the champion in that time. So you never know what can happen. Sharaf got KO'd by Junior Tafa. Yeah. Yeah. I know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just putting some hope out there, but I mean, he didn't even get like KO'd completely here. This was a standing TKO. So, but that gash was nasty on his head, and you know, he just kept getting rocked, so they had to stop it. That was in the second round in the heavyweight division. So that was an exciting fight, and obviously there was a lot of action in that one and a lot of blood. So entertaining to watch for sure. Next up, we had Joanderson Brito versus Isaac Thompson. And, you know, Brito, he's good on the ground, especially. But he's got a lot of good takedowns. As you can see, he kind of threw Thompson on the ground, almost on his head, really. But, yeah, it was just one of those weird fights. Not weird, but one of those fights that went to decision. And it was like back and forth a little bit, but I mean, Thompson just he was catching some decent, you know, short shots in there sometimes, but you know, he worked hard at it. It's not like he got completely dominated, I don't think, but Brito just got the best of him, really. And what is this? Oh, okay, I thought that was something else. But yeah, so that Asbjorn equals maximum Holloway. Oh shit! Third round, he was spamming elbows in the clinch. Who was Asbjorn? No, they didn't. Wasn't that over in the second? Are you talking about this fight or that fight? But yeah, so that brings Thompson. Got you. Okay, yeah, this was one of those fights that I kind of skimmed through because I knew the outcome, obviously, but I think I got interrupted in this one. So then when I went back, I just kind of skimmed through it all. But yeah, that puts Brito back in the win column because he was on a 2-fight losing streak where he lost 2 decisions to William Gomez and Pat Sabatini. That fight was some butt. Yeah, that's kind of why, because I kind of felt like that's how it was. You know, I looked at the pictures and I was like, oh, was there some action in this fight? Just judging by the, you know, Brito throwing him down on the ground, and it looked like there was a couple different submission attempts. But yeah, I mean, those were just the most exciting the most exciting portions of the fight, it seems like. So it is what it is, man. You take the bad with the good. But yeah, Brito gets a win after being on a 2-fight losing streak. Isaac Thompson was making his UFC debut, and he comes up short and gets the loss by unanimous decision. He was on a 3-fight win streak coming into this, where, you know, he was winning over at LFA. But sometimes you get into the UFC and, you know, it's a different type of opponent, different type of environment, and sometimes you just can't do well in that environment. It happens. But, you know, I'm sure he'll get another chance. It wasn't, you know, he didn't completely fold and just have a disastrous fight, I don't think, from what I see and from what I hear. Just wasn't a great fight. So we'll see what Isaac Thompson does coming up. And Brito, now being in the win column, is going to look to, you know, put together some more wins and get far away from that 2-fight losing streak he was on. it was somewhat competitive. Okay, yeah, at least it wasn't completely disgusting like some of these fights turn out to be. Next up, though, we had Yaroslav Amosov versus Neil Magny, and for the time that this one was, for the amount of time that this one lasted, 3 minutes and 14 seconds of the first round, you know, there's some decent action going on. You know, Neil Magny is one of those guys. This was actually impressive, yeah. And Amosov, that's what I was saying before. He was a champ in Bellator, I believe, and with that, you know, you got to kind of give him some credit, especially with the amount of fights he has on his record. You know, he may be coming over to the UFC for the first time, but it's not like he's a rookie, you know. And as much as we, you know, talk shit about Bellator, they still had some decent fighters over there. Like, you know, Michael Venom Page was there. He actually beat Logan Storley, who's a good fighter. Douglas Lima is who he got the belt from, which is crazy, because Douglas Lima is a star over there, and he's a great fighter too. He actually beat Logan Storley twice. David Rickles was decent. Eric Silva, Gerald Harris. So there was some decent fighters that he fought over in Bellator. But you know, the level of competition is pretty different in the UFC, regardless of whether you're coming from LFA, Cage Warriors, or Bellator or PFL. You're still going to get something different in the UFC. It's a whole different thing, as we've seen from Pitbull, Pico, you know, guys like that who came over and didn't have a great first fight. Patchy Mix, you know. But either way, this puts Amosov on a 2-fight win streak. One of those fights coming out of CFFC before he got into the UFC, but this is his first UFC fight. So he debuted and gets a big win by submission with that anaconda choke over Neil Magny, of all people. And you know, Neil Magny is a hard guy to fight because he's so like long and lanky, and he has a really unique kind of fighting style. This is how Bellator guys should be introduced to the UFC. No more top 5 opponents. Yeah, because Neil Magny's like that. He's still a tough opponent. He's like that gatekeeper. You know, if you can't beat Neil Magny, then they're not going to look at you in a great light. But if you can get past Neil Magny, then you might have some good stuff coming for you. Whether it's your first fight coming in, or it's, you know, your 6th fight and you're climbing the ladder and you're undefeated in the UFC. You got to get past Magny at some point in time if you're in that division. He's just that guy. But you know, it is what it is. Either way, Amosov I knew would be a good opponent for Magny. I just wasn't sure if Magny was gonna Magny him. You know, sometimes he gets to those guys that are supposed to be really good and have a lot of hype around them, and then Neil Magny comes in and shuts him down and you know, pour some water on that fire. But he didn't do that this time, because Amosov was able to take him down and get himself in a good dominant position and wind up tapping out Neil. I mean, Neil fought hard to get out of that submission. You know, you could see the amount of times, but the way Amosov had him tied up, he just couldn't get out of it. So finally he taps. Amosov gets the win in the first round of that fight in the welterweight division. 3 minutes and 14 seconds in, that puts Amosov at 29-1 and Neil Magny down to 31-14. That puts him at 24-13 in the UFC. He was on a 2-fight win streak, and that's what else I was worried about, because sometimes when Neil Magny's hot, he keeps it going if he doesn't have a really high level opponent. But I guess Amosov was a little too high level for him, coming in as a former champion of Bellator, which, you know, sometimes that happens. And Neil Magny is that guy to get past, and Amosov did it. So good for him on that one. And that brings us over to the main card. Let me get a drink here. So that brings us to the main card, starting with King Green, who, here's the thing about Green, man. Whether you call him King or whether you call him Bobby, because they kept calling him Bobby Green, or sometimes they'd say King Bobby Green or Bobby King Green. Either which way, the Bobby was staying in there. And You know, I'm just glad to know that I'm not the only one, because he was known as Bobby for so long. His nickname was King. You know what I mean? Bobby King Green. Like, yeah, let's just leave it at that. Why do you got to change your name completely and demand that you get called King? But whatever. That's the kind of dude King Green is. I did it again. Shit. Oh man, what am I doing? Hold on. Whoa. Where is my mouse and why is everything clicking like crazy? What's going on here? There we go. I found it. Now, can I move it to where it needs to be moved? What the fuck is happening? Is my mouse dying?
Bruh.
That's what I was looking for. But yeah, I mean, Bobby Green, King Green, whatever you want to call him. So he's doing his normal shit, right? He starts feeling himself pretty early in the fight. He's talking the whole way through, which is the way that we know Bobby Green to fight. King Green, whatever. Green, I'll just say Green. That's the way he fights. He talks a lot of shit until you shut him up and make him, you know, focus. He talks a lot of shit, but he was also doing this thing where, and he fights with his hands down too, which is annoying. Gibson refused to throw strikes for some reason. Yeah. So because Bobby Green walks forward and he keeps his hands down, so you're like, wait, what the fuck is this guy doing? And of course you could be that fool that just feeds into it and jumps right in and gets knocked out or gets caught and dropped. Or you could be the guy that's hesitant like Gibson was, except at some point you say you got to take a chance and throw a strike and see what happens. Be ready for the comeback. Be ready to get countered, or, you know, be ready for a counter to his counter or something of this sort. But instead, Gibson was just super tentative, super overly careful. Bobby Green is doing an exaggerated form of himself. He's walking with his hands down, you know, in his stance, but with his hands down, walking forward and doing this whole little like shoulder fucking thing. I don't even know what it was. It was kind of, dude, I was like secondhand embarrassment watching it, because I'm like, why do you have to keep doing this? So, and on top of that, anytime Gibson would throw a series of punches, or combinations, or anything towards his way, and it wasn't landing on his face or on his head of any sort, he would just do this and be like dusting off his shoulder or something like that. And King Green do great in boxing with his hands down. Yeah, let's hope that he doesn't move into boxing, because that's just, I don't know, man. But he's doing this whole like brushing it off his shoulder, talking constantly. He even got he baited Gibson into talking during the match as well. Gibson even told him at one point in time, oh, look what happened, why you missing now? I think he told him in like the third round or some shit. He landed almost every time he threw on Bobby, so I don't know why he won't do it. I don't know if he landed clean though. That's the thing. And you know, it's got to be super frustrating to be throwing a lot of volume at somebody, even though I know he wasn't throwing a lot, but I'm just saying, in the moment you spam a couple punches and, you know, for a combo or something, and none of them really land clean, and you got the guy fucking doing this and going like this and being like, what's up, and bring it, and come on, get over here, just doing that shit to you over and over again. You're already frustrated because you didn't land clean. It's like hitting a baseball when it's like, oh shit, that was a little dribbler down the middle. What the fuck was that? Who better at talking during fights? Kevin Holland. See, I think funnier is Kevin Holland. More annoying and probably aggravating is Bobby Green. I think wait, what? Gotta touch on that Mayweather Tyson in March? What do you mean? Did I miss something? Did I forget something? Because I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And if that's in March, that's fucking far. But exhibition match. Oh, was this the thing that got announced like months ago and then still isn't for another few months? Yeah. We'll talk about that closer when it gets closer, if it even happens. I don't even see that happening. I don't see that happening. That's for the far future. I'm not sure that happens ever, but I even forgot about it. That's how kind of insignificant that seems. It's almost worse than the Jake Paul fight, but you know, I did forget. I completely forgot about that one. The hands down comment made me think of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I think Bobby Green is a little more aggravating with his shit talking in the cage, because just he aggravated me with everything he was doing. And yeah, he was landing on Gibson a little bit here and there, but you know, it's not like he was overly dominating him, but Gibson, just like Tyler said, just wasn't doing a whole lot. And that doesn't do much for you when you're not even known in the UFC. You're coming in making your debut, and you're getting somebody like Bobby Green, who's a, you know, kind of equivalent to Neil Magny, except I think Bobby Green is a little more explosive, and he's a lot faster too. Bobby Green's speed has not left him yet. You know, the older a guy gets, one of the first things that leaves is the speed. But I get annoyed with Jean Silva's countless handshakes. I could see that too. Neither guy threw much, but Bobby clearly won. Yeah, I mean, he did, but look, he did a lot more shit talking and taunting than he did fucking fighting. But Bobby Green, when he throws something, he explodes with it, and it's fast and it looks more impressive. You know, Gibson looked like he had the potential to do that just by the way that he would try to counter, but he just looked way too timid and way too hesitant because of the way that Bobby Green was fighting, and I'm sure that Green got in his head too. So that probably had a lot to do with it. You know, first fight in the UFC as well. Your dad fought there before, like that might be some pressure on his shoulders. But I mean, he was only 5-1 in the UFC. I mean, in Bellator. He was on a 2-fight win streak in Muckleshoot Fight Night, whatever the hell that is, before he came into the UFC, because obviously Bellator closed up shop, and I guess he didn't get any fights in the PFL or didn't get taken over. So you know, his last fight in Bellator was his first loss of his career, and then he goes over to this offshoot organization and fights twice and wins. Tyler says he was a can crusher. I remember you said that last time too. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't fought anybody of real note until now, and of course he loses. So it's a tough one to come in on your UFC debut against somebody like King Green, who still has the speed and can still be explosive, and that can hurt you, and that can definitely make him look better in the fight than it makes you look when you're being very hesitant and on your back foot at all times. King Green would have been a great catcher or character in the upcoming street fight. Oh yeah, hell yeah, he would have, because he's got that. He's almost like a cartoon character, you know what I mean? Like the way that he presents himself is just outlandish. So either way, he gets the win by split decision, but he gets the win. You know, that tells you a little bit there. You know, one of the judges thought that Lance Gibson Jr. was able to win. I think the second round was a clear one for Gibson, but besides that, the other two rounds were tough. I feel confident that the first round was 100% Bobby Green's, or King Green. Shouldn't have been split. You think yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying. I'm sorry, I had a weird thought there, and then I was like, wait a minute, we're saying the same thing. Yeah, I don't think it should have been split either. I don't think Gibson did enough to even, you know, like I said, I think he won the second round. The only one I would say would be in question is the third round, but I think Green got it. So I don't know how that judge decided that Gibson won the fight overall, but whatever. Green gets the win regardless, by split decision. And yeah, that was your first fight on the main card. Next up, it doesn't get any better, unfortunately. It actually gets worse, because Buchecha, with the value that his name brings, coming in from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world, where he's, you know, somewhat of a legend at this point, it's just not carrying over into the UFC. I don't think there's any argument for Gibson in round 1 or 3. When I heard split decision, I actually thought they were gonna rob Bobby. No, the first round was 100% for Green, and the second round was for Gibson. I feel like he just edged it out, but he definitely got that one. The third round was the only one I could see being questionable, you know, as far as looking at someone else's perspective, but I thought Green won the fight too. So really, that's about how that goes. Buchecha is a can and Kennedy is too. Tyler Fish is not he's not very impressed with these guys on this card, obviously. But you know what? He's not wrong, because you fight to a draw in a very, I don't know, very boring fight. I was legit bored during this fight, because it wasn't even just that arguably good on the ground and that's why people would say it's boring. No, it wasn't. I mean, Buchecha wasn't doing shit. He gasses out fast. I mean, you can see how sweaty he is. Of course, saying how sweaty a fighter is in a 15-minute fight seems stupid, but I'm just saying, like, he seems like he gets very tired very fast. You see how tired he is because of how sweaty he is, how just drained his face looks, how frustrated he looks with everything he does. I sat through every single fight and it was either a clean finish or complete shit. Yeah. But Infinity, I don't even know. I'm sitting here trying to think of what I said, because I was like, I didn't even catch that one. Buchecha could have got TKO too in round 2, but he's a tard. Oh, he could have got a TKO. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I do remember that too. I wouldn't even have paid attention to it if it wasn't for the announcer saying it, and I'm just like, oh, I guess so, because I just was bored. Sweaty dude. Oh, got you, Infinity.
Hey, no Diddy, man, no Diddy.
But yeah, Buchecha is just not doing it in the UFC. And Kennedy, we all know Kennedy and Nzechukwu sucks on the ground. He kind of sucks all the way around. You know, people made a big deal about him in the beginning because he had some decent fights. But you know, he's like, he'll win a few, lose a couple, win a few, lose a couple, win a couple, lose a few. I think that's what he lost his last fight to Walter Walker, which everyone who's been fighting Walter Walker lately has lost too. I said that last time. Brokailed Olberg. Yeah, but that was Olberg of fucking 2021, where Olberg was just not doing well at that time. He's definitely came up, so I don't consider that much of a feat. I mean, it's not like Olberg is the champ now. When he becomes a champ, then he can say, hey, I KO'd him. But you know, it doesn't say a whole lot now. I mean, Olberg's doing way better now, and that, I think that's just a, you know, that just goes to show that he's just gotten better. And Kennedy's the same fucking guy, because he can't even knock out some dude like Buchecha, who's somewhat of a can. So that's all I'm saying. It's a tough one. So that was a tough watch. Ends in a unanimous draw. What the fuck? A draw in MMA sucks. Oh, but this is the fight where Nzechukwu got a point taken away, because I think it was the second round. He actually kicked Buchecha in the nuts. He turned Olberg into a leg kick merchant until his last fight. Oh, well, I don't know, man. I don't really care that much. Honestly, it's not a big deal to me. Kennedy just sucks, dude. I don't care. He could have knocked out fucking the champ right now, and 6 years ago, and I'd still say he sucks. So it's fine. But yeah, so Kennedy fucking kicks him in the nuts and then pokes him in the eye. What clearly pokes, he does a Cyril Gane, except apparently Buchecha was able to handle it, or it just wasn't as bad, but it looked pretty bad. 2 fingers in the eyes. But in the end, it comes to a fucking draw, and it's because of that. I think I just don't like Reyes, so I find it funny he lost to a kid. Yeah. But it got to the point where we just got a draw out of it, and that's because he did that shit with the eye pokes and stuff, got the point taken away. So maybe he could have edged out a win, or Buchecha could have. I'm sorry. Kennedy could have edged out a win, by split decision or some shit if he didn't get that point taken. But it killed it for him, so it turns into a draw. So that's that fight. Not a whole lot to talk about there. But then we get to another exciting fight, which was Melquizael Costa versus Morgan Charrier. This fight didn't last long at all. 1 minute 14 seconds into the first round. Not a whole lot happening in the beginning, but Melquizael Costa fucking throws a head kick where that Morgan Charrier actually puts his hand up and, you know, goes for the block, and the kick goes through. It actually catches him on the back of the head through his hand, and fucking he gets knocked out, and he stiffens up, and it looks like he's awake, but he's not. And yeah, it was a nasty knockout. And Costa is legit, man. He's as Tyler just said, 4 wins this year. Yeah, quietly a badass this year, honestly, because I mean, no one was really paying attention. Of course, his last fight was a fun fight with Julian Erosa, where they got fight of the night bonus. It was a unanimous decision win for Costa. Before that, he beat Christian Rodriguez by unanimous decision as well. And then his first fight this year was a submission win over Andre Fili in the first round by guillotine. So yeah, 4 fights this year, all wins, 2 finishes and 2 decisions, 1 fight of the night bonus. So not a bad year for Melquizael Costa. You know, not a lot of people talking about the fact that he fought 4 times this year, kind of like Merab did. You know, now Merab's stakes are much higher, much more on the line, much more pressure. But regardless, he, you know, tried to fight 4 times this year and lost his 4th fight. So Costa was able to do it. He fought in February, turned around quickly and fought in March, then again in May, and then took a little bit of time between the last 2 fights, and then fought last night. So good year for Melquizael Costa, and we'll have to see 4 fights, 4 wins, and 4 different variants of Melquizael. Yeah, he's a different kind of dude, and he's just quietly making his way into, you know, becoming ranked, and he's gonna keep trying to climb that ladder. So we'll see how many fights he gets next year, and let's see if he can keep this 4-fight win streak going, especially with the fact that he's on a 5-fight win streak, because he did have 1 fight last year, only one, that he got a submission win over Shailene Nurndebeki, and that was in June of last year. So he's on a 5-fight win streak now. He's going to try to extend that, and we'll see how many fights he gets in this year, and if he becomes ranked and starts fighting the higher levels of the division in that men's featherweight division. So that brings us over to Cezary Olazechuk versus Cesar Almeida, and this fight went to unanimous decision as well. But I mean, it was a decent fight, I think. I didn't Tyler says it was ass. I didn't really watch this fight all the way through, so I'll have to take his word for it. But it was one of those fights where, you know, it was I don't really know what to say about it, to be fair. Olazechuk, though, being able to come in and get a win over someone like Cesar Almeida, it was like Chimaev versus DDP, but no stakes. Well, that sucks. I guess for Olazechuk, you know, he's got his brother who's doing well in the UFC, and he's coming in to get his first official UFC fight. He's the younger guy, so you would think maybe you would get a little more out of him. But Almeida, I mean, he was 7-1 coming into this, so it's not like he had a bad record, but he just hasn't really fought a whole lot of real high level guys. He was on a 2-fight win streak, and his last fight he got a performance of the night bonus against Abdul Razak Al Hassan with a first round TKO win. He beat Ihor Pretoria by decision, lost to Roman Kopylov, and got a performance of the night bonus against Dylan Budka by TKO, and beat him by TKO in the second round. So, you know, he hasn't fought like crazy high levels of opponents, but he's had some decent fights in there. Only 1 loss before this one, so now that puts him at 3-2 in the UFC. But Olazechuk, coming off of the Contender Series where he got a first round TKO win over Theo Haig 36 seconds into the first round. So I'm sure the UFC was thinking, damn, this guy, you know, took care of his opponent quickly in the Contender Series. He's the brother of another really good guy in the UFC right now. I'm sure they're both training out of that Fighting Nerds gym. So yeah, I'm sure there was a lot more expected here, but you know, it is what it is, and the fight goes to unanimous decision. Cesar Almeida loses. Oleksiejczuk gets his first win in the UFC, and that's about how that went. And that brings us over to the co-main event, and this is where it gets exciting again. And that's a good way to finish the night and a good way to finish the year, with a couple finishes in the co-main and main events for the last card of the year. We got Kevin Vallejos versus Giga Chikadze. And man, Giga, you know, he threw a couple of those kicks that landed decent, and he tried to show off those kicks like he has in the past with the, you know, the Giga kicks or whatever. But I think he checked a kick at some point and got a like nasty gash in his shin, and that's where you see the blood on Vallejos with on his side, where Giga kicked him a couple times with that bloody shin. Which I was wondering if that was just redness at first from getting kicked, but it was actually just blood, because you could see it in the post-fight interview as well. Even in between rounds, because that all happened in the first round. In between rounds, it didn't even really get cleaned up. It was kind of weird. Or no, maybe that was in the second round. I was thinking they would have cleaned it up before he got into the you know, got interviewed or whatever, but it was still there. It was kind of weird. But Giga just got dropped by that spinning back fist, which we've seen a few of those this year. So that might be another category, is like the best spinning back fist finish of this year, because we've had a couple back fists and a few elbows, but a lot of spinning attacks. So maybe it'd be about spinning attacks. But that's how he got Giga on the ground, and then followed it up and started punching him before he even hit the ground completely. And was able to finish Giga in the second round, 1 minute and 29 seconds in, spinning back fist and elbows. But yeah, finished him on the ground. But man, you could see how he's in the middle of punching him while Giga's just barely hitting the ground. Definitely a clean finish. Vallejos is, man, he's impressive. I mean, Giga hadn't fought in a bit, I think. Very impressive, and nasty cut on the shin. Yeah. So that puts Vallejos at 3-0 in the UFC. That puts him at a 3-fight win streak, but actually more than that if you count outside of the UFC. But for the UFC fights, he's 3-0 with only 3 fights so far. He beat Sungwoo Choi by TKO, Danny Silva by decision, and now Giga Chikadze back in the TKO win. Second round, he gets a performance of the night bonus for this win over Giga. Have a Mummy Award too, like stiff and frozen conscious. Oh shit. Yeah, that could be a good one. There was a few of those this year for sure. But yeah, that's your co-main event. Went to the second round, and we got a nice TKO win out of that one. Pretty exciting from Kevin Vallejos. Giga, man, Giga is on rough times. That is 3 losses in a row for him. Arnold Allen back in 2024, David Onama earlier this year, and now Kevin Vallejos. His previous 2 losses were by decision. Gotta go to Hakparast. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a good one. But Giga, 3 losses in a row. I don't know what that means for him. He missed weight in his last fight and then loses in this one as well. So I don't know. In his past 3, 4, 5 fights, he's 1-4 with only a win against Alex Caceres in 2023. So it's tough for Giga out there, man. I don't know if they're gonna hold on to him and give him another shot. He's 8-4 in the UFC, or if they release him because of, you know, kind of getting handled in this fight. But Vallejos is a good guy to be on the come up, and you know, he's definitely going to be climbing that ladder. I think they said Giga was ranked at 15, and now they're thinking Vallejos is going to take that ranking. I don't know if Bisping was right about that, though. I didn't really look it up. I probably should have. But the Mummy Award goes to, oh, I see what you're saying, Hakparast. Okay, I thought you were saying, I was like, are they in the same weight class? I don't think they are. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the knockout. Oh, well, I'll have to look into it. But that is probably a good Yeah, maybe that's something we do too, is instead of just naming it like KO of the year, we just, make some funny names out of it. That would be good. But let's get to this main event and wrap it up. We got Manel Kape versus Brandon. Oh shit, what did I just do? Completely pushed the wrong button is what I just did. There it is. Hold on, now I gotta go fix that because I just fucked it up. There we go. Sub-Zero wins. Cell killed head kick. Oh. Yeah, okay. Thank you. That I remember 100% now. Man, you either have a good memory or you're quick at looking them up. But I'm always like focused in on this. So like thinking back to it, I have to take a minute to try to remember because I'm fucking old too, probably. But I'm just thinking about the fights now so I can remember what I was going to talk about with them. And so thinking back to it, it always takes me a minute. But yeah, that was a good one for sure. But yeah, Manel Kape versus Brandon Royval. Here's the thing, man. I knew that Kape was capable of doing this, but the way that he's been fighting, I just didn't know that he was gonna do this to Brandon Royval. I knew he could do it. I just didn't think he would do it to Brandon Royval. But Royval likes to get in wars, and he likes to, just get in there and fight. So I guess that leaves him open to something like this. But man, 3 minutes and 18 seconds into the first round, Manel Kape gets the TKO, or actually KO win. He dropped Royval with that right hook, and when Royval got to the ground, Manel Kape jumped on top and followed up with some punches. And the second punch that he dropped, you see Royval's trying to dodge him and move, and then he gets hit with one and he just goes stiff. So it was a flash KO. And then I think Kape hit him again and it kind of woke him up. So then when the fight got called, Royval was arguing that it was there was a bad stoppage, that he shouldn't have stopped it. But you could see him go out, like you kind of saw his eyes just go flat, and he went kind of stiff for a second with his head up, and then he got hit again, and then he like woke up, and it was kind of weird. Do the can of the year, it's got to go to Jose Medina, I think. Oh shit. I think there's a few candidates in there, but that one might be the top for sure. Amen. Tiago Julian, man, that's a lot of words, bro. But Tiago, what's up? Thank you for jumping in and checking out the show. Appreciate you. But yeah, I think Royval just got in there and I'm sorry, I was talking about him arguing the stoppage. I'm pretty sure he got flash KO'd in that ground and pound. So do you think beating Moreno on a 3-fight win streak by TKO in round 2 is better than beating Royval coming off a loss by first round KO? Well, no. I mean, fuck. Hold on. I would say probably not. If you're comparing the two. Because, let's see. What do you, okay, so TKO in round 2 is better than beating Royval coming off a loss by first round. Oh, I see what you're saying on that part. Okay, I got that part mixed up. But I think the kind of fight that Royval had with Van made me think that there was no way he was going to come in and get slept that quick against Manel Kape of all people. Like I said, I knew Kape had the power and I knew he could do something like that. I just didn't think that Royval would be the guy he would do it to. So I thought it was going to go like later in the second round to maybe third round TKO by one of them. I didn't think it was going to end this quick. I don't know if Royval just got caught and made a mistake and just got caught, or he just straight up went head to head and got dropped. I'm not really sure how he would define that one, but as far as, I mean, Moreno on a 3-fight win streak, that's impressive, being that he's a former champion as well, so he's got that cloud around him. So that might mean something a little more than just the good fight that Royval had over Van. So I don't know. And I think the fact that the Royval finish was more definitive than the Brandon Moreno finish for Tyra, that might be what gets this one a little more attention, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. So does Tyra or Kape deserve the shot more? That's kind of what I was getting at. I was trying to think about what matters more. Because people might say that Tyra being having beaten a former champion the way that he did, and the fact that Moreno had that kind of streak going, maybe that might mean more to people than, and the fact that Kape has shown in the recent past some kind of some shitty fights. Tyra versus Manel in an interim title fight. I don't think they're gonna do an interim, but I wouldn't mind seeing Kape versus Tyra. That would actually be good. But Kape is on a 3-fight win streak now, and his last 2 fights, this one and the one previous to it, both got him performance of the night bonuses. See, he didn't TKO Asuo Mabayev until the 3rd round. That's kind of why I was thinking it was gonna go a little later than that. He beat Bruno Silva in the 3rd round as well by TKO. So his previous fights went to the 3rd round before he TKO'd anybody. So that's why I was thinking Royval's definitely going to make it to the end of the 2nd, if not the 3rd, if he gets caught and finished. Just because that's kind of how Kape's been working. But shit, he sped it up and he caught Royval quicker. I guess that happens sometimes. So, Kape has been on a good streak too, beating Royval as well. Kape might pull out anyway. Oh shit, Van is active and perfectly fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, because of the interim thing. Yeah, no damn way there's an interim fight. I missed what you said, Tyler. Oh, Jose Medina got destroyed by Atiba Gautier and Dusko Todorovic, who is one of the lowest level guys in the UFC, and all he did was smile at them. No resistance, no competition. Oh. I do remember Gautier, but that makes sense with him. The Todorovic one, I don't actually remember that well, but Medina's not a memorable guy, so that's probably the problem. That's why I'm gonna have to look through all these and pay more attention when I go back to it. But as far as this goes, I don't know. Kape did that nasty stupid call out of Van where he said some cringy ass shit, but I don't know that gets him ahead of Tyra. I think it's kind of a toss-up right now, and we'll see who they go with in this division to go after Joshua Van. And we'll also have to wait and see exactly how long Pantoja is going to be out, because say he's not going to be out for that long, then the UFC might make Van wait a little bit longer just to see if Pantoja can come back so that they can make that fight. Manel should fight Izzy. I think Izzy would fucking beat the shit out of Manel Kape. At least I would hope so. You don't even have to see the fight to know that's bad. Oh, he got easily subbed by Todorovic, who was 0-3 in the UFC. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how that went. So that was at least we got 2 TKO finishes. And we got some action at the end of the card. It just sucks that we had to finish with Manel Kape on the mic. That part sucked, and that part made it shitty. So but that does it for UFC Vegas 112. That does it for the UFC for 2025, and that does it for the UFC's era on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's over, and now we move over to Paramount Plus. So let's hope for the app working well. Let's hope for no issues with the streaming portion. Let's hope for them not getting a crazy bug up their ass and decide that they're going to make some gigantic fights that we need to pay extra for. And let's hope for not too much of a price increase for Paramount Plus now that the UFC is moving over there, because that's kind of what we assume they're going to do, right? Just tell Izzy that Kape is a dog, then we'll see a real finish. Oh, shit. All right, Infinity. Thanks again for the coasters and stuff. I appreciate it. They're dope. But yeah, that's about it for me. We have 6 weeks of no fights, as I said previously. So for now, I will be thinking of content. We have the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight coming up. We have the Misfits boxing coming up. Those are some things to talk about. I do cover those anyway. If it's not in passing or at least mentioning it, I will cover them a little more in depth if I have nothing else going on. And obviously we're not going to have any UFC, so we'll be touching on those events and anything else that might pop up between now and then. But make sure you stick with me, guys, and I'll have some good content out there for you as much as I can. Make sure you like this video before you leave, please. And if you're not subscribed, please do that before you take off as well. And hit that notification bell so you know when I go live or put out any other make a community post for ideas for awards. Then we can put idea. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't done the community post in a while, so yeah, I could do that. But yeah, pitch in on the comments any of your ideas for any other content you might want to see or ideas for awards, and I'll try to make that community post as well and be on the lookout for that. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Have a good week. Come back on Thursday for the preview of Joshua and Paul and anything else going on in the combat sports world. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.